Namaste everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. When I teach these classes face to face, I normally do the same set of postures for 2 weeks in a row, just so we have a chance to get familiar with the movements and bring them more into our bodies. But because in the online classes we have the opportunity to watch more than once, I thought what I would do is to do something different each week and then start to mix things up a little bit. So having a set of asanas that come from one class and then bringing something in from another. So over the month we get used to the practices, but also that we have a little bit of variety and something a little bit different is coming to you each week. And if you need the repetition and reinforcement, you can always go back and watch the classes again. So over the last couple of weeks in particular, I've been receiving quite a few emails from the different organisations that I subscribe to in the yoga and spirituality field. And there's been a lot of input, a lot of talk, a lot of intellectualising. And it made me reflect on the way in which a yoga practice like this is really not an intellectual exercise, but it is an experience. And what we try and create in a yoga class is the experience. You can talk all you like and intellectualize and read all sorts of information and get all of that knowledge. But when it comes down to it, the real value of this is in the experience that comes into your mind and your body when you practice. And this wonderful mixture of ingredients that the yoga practice has of relaxation, breathing, breath awareness, meditation, asana, mantra, all of these things coming together, which really create a rich experience. And this is another reason why I would really encourage you to create your space when you watch these videos, if you're able to settle in, not rush through and quickly go, oh, I've got a little bit of time now, so I'll quickly do this and then I'll move on. The more you are able to create a sanctuary within your own home and go slowly and feel into these practices, the more they will speak to you. The more the practices will be your teacher. Not so much anything that I or anyone else from outside might say, but your embodied experience of how these things affect you and make a difference. But you have to open yourself up to that possibility. So the poses that I teach in my classes are not particularly difficult. It's pretty slow and gentle in the approach that I have. But my intention behind that is that the yoga asana in particular is not there as a prowess or a way to go, wow, look how amazing I am, look how stretchy I am. The poses are there as good medicine for your body. We do it because it's good for our body. So again, going slow, doing what's comfortable within your body and staying within your capacity, forgetting any other kind of athletic prowess is really important as you move into these classes. That is the attitude I want to take in. Not amazing asana practice, but a holistic approach which includes the meditation and relaxation and breath awareness with asana, which is good medicine for your body. So before we get started in today's class, we're going to need a couple of blankets and maybe a belt. So let me step back here and show you what I've got. So I want to begin the class with a blanket underneath your body. So a little bit of extra thickness as well as your mat. something big enough to go underneath your head and your spine and your hips. And then we're going to later on use a belt. So if you don't have a yoga belt, I've just gotten out my dressing gown belt here just to use today. So you can see that you can use anything that you might find around the house. Even a long sock is something that you could use in today's practice. So if you want to pause the video here and go and get those bits and pieces that you need. So if you have something underneath your knees in relaxation and underneath your head, grab something extra if you have it, because I want to have just that little bit of extra thickness underneath our spine today. So when you're ready now, come down into Shavasana, lying on your back with the blankets or bolster under your knees if you need them, with something firm underneath your head if you need that to help draw your chin into your chest. And feel yourself starting to settle into this position. So take a deep breath in and out and be aware of the sensation of release. Take that breath again. Deep inhale, strong release. Letting go. And bringing your attention to the natural, easy flowing rhythm of your breath. Giving yourself time to slow down. Depending on what we've been doing during the day, it can take a little bit to draw our energies back in, to gather ourselves and focus internally. So just let the whirl of inner chatter and movement and activity start to settle. And that breath awareness is the thing that really helps you. So breathing in, breathing out, gradually. Feeling that whirling energy settle down. And don't worry if you find your mind is still quite active. The more you focus on your breath, the more you become aware that underneath that surface chatter is a deep ocean of peace. So the chattering often continues up there on the surface, but as we breathe and we let go, we drop below those waves, what the rishis, or how it's described in Sanskrit, the chitta vrittis, the fluctuations of the mind. We drop below that into that deep ocean of peace. Start to feel it moving through you. Bring your hands up to rest on your belly so that you feel the rise and fall at the navel center. You connect with that movement of breath. And then we'll move to a deeper and more expansive breath. So as you inhale next, draw in deeply and notice how that feels in your body. Feel the breath moving upward through your spine and opening up your chest. And notice the way everything releases as you breathe out. Continue with this breath awareness. Expanding, opening, deep inhalation and deep release. And then on your next inhalation, bring both of your arms up and back onto the floor behind you. As you reach the arms back, spread your fingers out wide and flex your feet so it feels like a little squeeze. And as you breathe out, settle yourself into this extended position. Soften again, wriggle so that it's comfortable around the shoulders and the chest. And then we'll pause in this open, elongated pose. Deep, steady breath, enjoying the feeling of the breath totally filling you. And then on an exhale, bring your arms back beside you. Go slowly so you can notice what's happening. Sensations. And when your arms get back to the floor beside you, take a deep breath in and out. Notice that feeling of release. And now if you have something underneath your knees, pop it to one side. If you have a blanket or some kind of firm support underneath your head, you can leave it there. And we'll stay on our backs and bend the knees. So with the knees bent, we'll take the opportunity to check in with our posture and make sure that we're still lengthening through our spine and drawing the chin into our chest. So there's no scrunching up in our bodies, that there's space around your belly and your chest. And then we'll bring the knees up over the body. You can bring your hands up to rest on the knees or the shins, wherever they come to comfortably for you. So if you feel like your belly is in the road, you can bring the knees out a little bit. Let them drop to either side of your belly. So each of you will find the position that is most comfortable for you. And then let the touch of your hands on your knees and shins be light. So it's not a movement or a pose where you're pulling your knees towards you or forcing anything to happen. You're just resting the hands on the knees. You'll feel the weight of your arms draw down, the elbows draw down towards the floor. Just the heaviness of your arms. And this will help to anchor you in position. And once you're settled, bring your focus back to your breath. And I want to stay here for a little bit. Breathing steadily and just allowing yourself to sink into this position. With that extra thickness underneath your spine, a soft support. Feel the weight of your body being evenly absorbed all the way along your spine and into the back of your head. Feeling all of the back of your body melting into the floor. Feel your knees very gradually dropping a little closer towards your body. And a sense of softness coming in. Stay with the awareness of your breath and stay with the pose just a little longer if it's comfortable for you. And then we're going to come up to sit. So you can rock up to sit or roll onto your side, whatever, and press up, whichever of those two options works best for you. And then once you're up, you can get a folded blanket or a bolster, or even come to sit on a chair for this if you want to. Just if you're able to sit cross-legged, we'll do that. If you prefer to kneel, if you prefer to sit on a chair, those are all options. If you're sitting cross-legged, have that little bit of a support underneath your buttocks so that it helps to tilt the pelvis and elongate your spine. So whatever sitting position you choose, let's pause for a moment and settle here. This little sequence is one of my favourite warm-up set of movements. So let's now start to circle the body from the base of the spine upward. Just very gentle circles to start with as you start to explore and feel into this movement. So one of the things that happens when we do this is it really highlights the areas of our spine that might feel a little bit stuck. So if you can, let the movement start right down in that pelvic area, right down at the base of the spine, rather than starting at your waist or even at your shoulders. So just sense into this and see how it feels for you. And if it is hard to get mobility deep down into the spine, then just be aware of that. Do your best, continue to rotate, feel into the movement. Keep your breathing steady and relaxed. As you get a little bit more comfortable with the movement, the circles might get a little bit bigger. And then change direction and circle the other way. Again, the opposite direction can feel quite different. So we have a dominant side. So feel into whatever is there. Notice. Steady, smooth breathing. And then slowly making your circles a bit smaller, 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 until you find yourself back at the center, balanced, spine elongating and settled in this position. Let's take a deep breath in and bring the arms up overhead, lace the fingers and push the palms up to the ceiling. Lift up. Feel your ribs lifting up away from your tummy. Open up and then release. So I'm going to go sideways now so you can have a better look at how this movement works. We're still sitting either cross-legged or kneeling or in the chair. And we're going to bring our arms around behind, lace the fingers and push the fist down towards the floor. So breathe in. As you push the fist down, rock forward a little, squeeze the shoulder blades together, press the chest forward. So there is a forward momentum to this movement. Then as you breathe out, we'll release the hands, roll the spine back, draw your belly button back towards your spine, lace the fingers, push the palms away, press out. Really reach through those arms so you can feel the movement around your shoulders. Then we'll breathe in, elongate again, bring the arms behind, inhale, and exhale. Rounds, press the palms away. And let's keep on with this 3 more times. When you get to the end of 3, come back up to upright, spine elongated, body balanced. Take a deep breath in and out. And then we're going to let the legs out. So you might be starting to feel a little bit tired of sitting cross-legged or kneeling. So let's relax and release the legs. You can bring your arms around behind you and just give the legs a bit of a rock and a shake. Let the feet be nice and floppy. Circle the ankles a little bit both ways. Can even give the legs a little bit of a rub, the knees a rub. So just ease out. And then I want to come back into a kneeling position. So you might have to take a moment to get yourself settled, particularly if you want to have blankets underneath or in between the tail and the feet. We've still got our soft blanket underneath the knees. Or you can do this next practice in a chair if you want to. This is where we're going to need our dressing gown belt or whatever it is that you have that you might need. So again, we're going to elongate upward through the spine. And then bring the right arm up, bend the elbow and back behind you. Then the left hand the other way. And what we're aiming for is to bring the fingers together behind your back. Now, if they don't reach, this is what the belt is for. We can use it to bridge the gap. So if you have a big space between the hands, then the belt bridges the gap. You can hold on. You've got something to anchor yourself with. Press the chest forward, lift up. the right elbow pointing towards the ceiling and holding on here. So a little bit of a stronger version of what we were just doing, pressing the chest open, lifting, steady breathing. And then release. We're going to bring the right arm in front of our bodies with the elbow bent. Then sit the left elbow on top. Wrap the arms around so that your hands come together in a prayer position, and then lift your elbows up so that you're not squashing the chest. So this pose is the top half of the eagle pose, and it helps to open through the back of the chest. So a little bit of a stronger version of what we just did in our warm-up. Just a few deep breaths in and out. Release when you need to. And then give the shoulders a roll, a bit of a shrug. You'll feel like you need to do that. And we'll do all of that again on the opposite side. So this time the left arm is going to come up and back, the right arm around behind, just linking the fingers behind you or using the belt to bridge the gap. Elongate the spine, press the chest forward, open up. We'll pause here for a couple of deep breaths in and out. And then release. Bring the left elbow in front of you. Sit the right elbow on top. Bring the hands around into prayer position and then lift the elbows up. So back to the eagle pose. Steady breathing. And then we'll release. Give the shoulders a roll, a bit of a shrug, shake out, just releasing any tension that might come from being in that position now. Let go. And then again, we'll bring the legs out in front. Another chance to release anywhere where it feels like it's been squashed, a little bit of a shake and a wriggle for the legs. And just press the arms back behind you. And as you do, now press the hands into the floor. Elongate your spine. Open the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then with that elongated spine, we're going to hinge forward and settle into this back stretch pose, bringing the head towards the knees. So keep your elbows bent so you're not straining to pull yourself forward, that you find yourself just dropping into the space. So there's no force here. Some of you might feel good putting a blanket underneath your knees and a little bit of something, even a fold here with the blanket that's underneath you can go underneath the hips just to help elongate. Hinging first and then softening down into the pose, and we'll stay here for a couple of breaths in and out. Let your head drop down, feeling into the pose, noticing the sensations of your body, noticing your breathing. And then we'll ease back up. And then our final sitting position, if you can get the blanket underneath your hips again, the chair or kneeling, whichever you like the best. Once again, elongating through your spine. We're going to take a breath in and reach up through the right arm. On the out breath, we'll come over to the left. Breathe in and breathe out. Come over to the right. So when you come over, your hand will come to the floor, hopefully, and press the opposite hip back towards the surface that you're sitting on so that you don't tip over. So this is the movement. We're going to breathe in and out, and in and out, in and out, in and out. Breathing in, we're now going to twist to the left. So our left hand is going to come around behind, just fingertips touching the floor or the back of your chair or the back of your feet, depending on how you're sitting. In and out. Let's do that once more on each side. Breath in and out. Breath in and out. And then back to the center as you breathe in and out. So I want to put all of that together now in a little bit of a quicker kind of movement. So with your breathing as we do this, it's just going to flow in and out comfortably as you move. So this is what it will look like. We're going to come up and over, and then twist to the left, twist to the right, back to the side, to the other side, twist, twist. Now join me. Let's keep going. Start to really activate and move your spine. You'll notice that your breathing just starts to settle into a rhythm as you work from side to side. And then let's come back to the center. Pause, take a deep breath in and out. And then from here we'll come over into the pose of the child. So whatever your best variation of the pose is, we still have the blanket under our knees so it's nice and soft, supportive, comforting, knees apart, belly between the knees, drop down. Remember that you can bring your head to rest on your forearms or one fist on top of the other, or even into the cupped hands, depending on what works best for you. Let's rest here. And then easing yourself up, bring your hands to the floor in front of your knees, rock forward, tuck the toes under, lift the knees up, and find yourself in a standing forward bend with your knees bent. Just dropping forward here for a moment. And then we're going to slowly roll ourselves up. So this is the same as we did last week. Unraveling, coming up to upright, bringing the arms up overhead. As you do, breathe in, spread the fingers out wide, and then release. let go, and shake out. So at this point in the class, I'm going to stop the video and start the second half of the class. Be back.